Hi there, in this one we are talking about a relatively cheap stock which we haven't looked at for some time. It is Tsnp. Now only a few days ago when we last looked at this one, it was pretty cheap around the 90 cent range. Since then it dropped to an absolute steal at 70 cent, and now I think people are definitely recognising the bargain that it was and buying it up again. Now it's past $1, we're asking, is this one a buy or should you avoid? Well, of course I am not a financial advisor, you already know this, but if you might enjoy the episode, if you do want to hear my opinions, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel because we look at multiple stocks every single day. On top of that, if you do want to come talk to us on Discord, you can. Link to our Discord is in the description and it is completely free to join. Now if you did want to support the channel financially, you can press that join button which is next to the subscribe button to become a member. It would be massively appreciated and you will help to fund the videos. With that being said though, let's jump in. Right, so two things that I want to draw your attention to before we initially start. Two indexes or indices. We have the Russell 2000, which is 2,000 of the smallest cap stocks in America. We can see that this one is actually up quite significantly today. Obviously, it did actually plummet a little bit at 9:30, but from about 9:40, we're looking at pretty big gains. And similar things can kind of been said for the S&P 500 from about 9:30 as well. So things really are moving quite positive on the markets today in general. I just thought I'd bring in a big index and a small index just to show a comparison, and we can see that overall this stock is kind of performing in a very similar way. I mean, it is kind of underperforming both indexes, but overall things aren't moving too bad, especially over the past few days. With this one, actually I do believe being quite negative today, which is not necessarily a bad thing, especially given what we have been seeing over the past few days. So ultimately the question is this stock a buy? Personally, in my opinion, absolutely yes. And if you are going to be buying this one, I definitely think it is more of a long-term hold. We've talked about the potential that Humble Pay does have in the past, and I really do think going forwards it does have that real room, world growth to expand and obviously increase the share price by a significant amount. If you do know what the company does, it's basically a mobile payment platform. It's already in, I believe, quite a lot of countries, and it's little things like this which really will help the stock going forwards. So right now I think once that name does officially change, we will start to get some initial growth, but I think realistically if you are willing to hold this one for the next, let's say, 1 to 5 years, it probably is going to increase dramatically in share price. And I definitely think back at about, this point here of 70 cent, it was a real steal. But right now it's still not too bad. I definitely think it has been pumped up a bit this week, which was to be expected, being as a lot of the market was pretty red last week, and this one was actually kind of outperforming the market on the Friday, which is good to see as well. So I definitely would consider this one a strong buy now in my opinion. I definitely think it is more of a long-term hold considering that. I think going forwards it could be a fantastic entry point because I definitely can see this one going past $2 for sure, maybe even past $3, $4, $5 or even $10 in the next year, because there really is that potential there. So we are just waiting for that name to change. I don't think that will cause the share price to rocket, but I do think it will cause a slow and steady increase in price. I definitely think this one does have that potential. So tomorrow I can see this one also continuing to go up by a small amount. I don't think it will be by too much, and I don't think that's a bad thing at all. If we just can continue a bit more growth like what we have been seeing over the past few days, continue into the next few days and the rest of the week, I think it definitely could be a perfect entry point now, because it definitely could give some decent returns in the next few days as well. But obviously if you are going to be investing in this one, like I have said, it is more of a long-term hold, and I think that is what we need to consider. But overall I think it's not the worst point that we have been seen to enter. I think it was a steal back at 70 cent, but right now because it's gone up to $1.16, that doesn't mean it is too expensive, because looking at what the company does from a fundamental standpoint at least, there is that real potential to see this one rocket even further. So please tell me what you think down in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye until then.